Mute everyone. Alrighty, I was letting Roach in. Oops. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for your patience while we had a few little technical issues there. There's a bit to go through tonight, so bear with us while we go through everything that we know to date. I'll just quickly go through this. Hopefully everyone is well and not too disappointed with the pushback of the announcements yesterday. We are on our way out. It's just going to take us a little bit longer to get there. Thank you to all of you who have made it here tonight. Appreciate you coming and being a part of this. There's a lot for us to share, a lot for us to learn. So I think that we just need to go into this season with an open mind and you know, be willing to change and ready to go with whatever we need to do in regards to COVID and making sure that we can all play cricket. We need to just remember that we as a club are implementing these rules as our obligation to you guys as members to make sure we keep all of us safe. We as a club will be guided by Cricket Victoria, the association, the councils, to make sure that we're complying with government restrictions. Tonight's meeting will be the first of a few meetings that we'll have. Some will hopefully be in person, but initially they'll be virtual like this. And most of our communications, I guess, will be like this in the first few weeks of the year. So it's something that we need to get a little bit used to, and I'm sure that everyone's been doing it for the last 6+ months anyway. So tonight's focus will be on returning us to training, and we'll likely have another quick briefing before we actually do get into the training. So that'll just be a quicker version rather than sort of having, you know, on-site briefings and different messages. We'll have a standard message for everyone. So hopefully we can get everyone across that as well. We'll also have another catch up with more details on returning to play. So like I said, tonight is just focusing on what we do to get back to training. And then a few weeks down the track, hopefully not too many weeks, we'll focus on the match play and how we do that. So a quick review of this agenda. I'm going to throw over to Cam shortly and he'll go through our purpose and our breaker values, just as a reminder of what they are for everyone, since it's been a while since we've been at the club. And then Tagger will go through a bit of an update of our off-season news, where we're at with grading and grounds that our senior teams are going to be playing at. We're not been graded or anything in our juniors as yet. Those teams aren't set, so we can't give you any information about those tonight. So this is just primarily senior grading. Then I'll take back over and go through what rule changes have occurred in the off season, and then a lot of the COVID requirements, and then finishing off with any questions if anyone has them. But just remember that primarily tonight we're focusing on returning to train, getting us back to do that. And then, you know, there'll be plenty of time when and as rules change to go through what it's going to look like on match day. So I really don't want to focus too much on that because they can change and everything is changing on a weekly basis. So we'll update you as and when things do change, and we will ultimately be giving everyone a copy of our COVID plan and getting all of the players to sign off on that. So that's a bigger document than what we're going through tonight. But that's a bit of a snapshot. I will hand over to Cam if I can unmute him and get him to take over. Clearly not listening. Cam? You need to unmute, please, Cam. Thank you.
Okay, so our purpose, the purpose of the club shall be to foster and promote friendship and community spirit through the game of cricket and social activities. Challenge consistently for premierships at the top grade of any association with which the club is affiliated. Develop young cricketers to be the best players they can be.
Sorry.
It's all right. To promote, control and manage all matches played or arranged to be played by the club. To embrace and adhere to the spirit of cricket. To promote cricket as an inclusive sport and foster participation by including both males and females, Indigenous people, people with disabilities, people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. Did you do that just so I couldn't read it? Linguistically diverse backgrounds, older adults and disadvantaged youth. Provide a level of cricket for the social cricketer. That's our purpose. Now, last year we came up with a break of values, which I'm plastered up all over the walls and stuff. So we'll just run through those again. Values of a breaker. B, belief. Know who you are and what you can do. Believe in yourself to achieve your goals. Be honest about your progress, performance and effort. R, respect. For our fellow members, opposition teams, umpires, administrators, facilities and equipment, listen and encourage. E, enjoyment. We enjoy being a part of our team and our East Box Hill Cricket Club family. This is why we love cricket. Awareness. Be aware of the strengths and weaknesses of both yourself and those around you. Observe and improve. K, kindness. Treat people exactly as you would want to be treated. Open your eyes and be active when you see someone in need. E, effective. Our club is managed in an effective and purposeful manner which supports the ongoing viability and success of the East Box Hill Cricket Club. And finally, R, resilience. Show determination, belief and willingness to fight to the end. Refuse to lose.
Thank you, Cam. Very good. All right, I'm going to throw over to Tagger now, who's going to go through a bit of what's happened in the off-season.
Thank you, Prez. First of all, welcome everyone tonight. As we all know, we've got great to have Timmy Law back to the club as the club. Fantastic. Welcome back, Timmy. The captains are appointed, winning a premiership guarantees you to keep the captaincy. Well done, Lee. Bluey is going to captain the seconds this year. I'm sure he'll do a great job there. Third 11, we've got two old-timers, Gilly and Paul Collishaw, doing a joint role, which will be fantastic. And the fourth 11, played a lot of cricket with this guy, and he's put his hand up to help out and captains, Kenny and Aldous, so congratulations to all those guys. Professional player signings, Sanadu's back with us, and Gihan. A lot of people have know Gihan, so welcome Gihan to the club, and thank you for those who are involved in getting to the club. One of the most exciting things a lot of people would have seen are the new one-day apparel clothing. Looks fantastic, getting a lot of positive vibes there. So we look forward to seeing us in those colours. Some off-season news. Like some guys have been busy in the off-season. Congratulations to Henry, Clarkey and Jack Clydesdale, all expectant fathers for the first time. So well done there. Now going into the
Muted, Tag.
Yep.
Yep.
So Ray McIntosh second 11 are in Peter White Shield, so we'll be playing, I think, 2 first 11 clubs and the rest will be second 11s. Third 11 will be in F grade, and fourth 11 will be in the I grade. As we all know, they're all one-day games this season. 80 overs for the top 2 grades and 70 overs for the 2 bottom grades. Bowlers can bowl 20% of the overs, so maximum of 8 overs in the top 2 grades and 7 in the bottom 2 grades. The bottom 2 grades will have a retirement of 50 as well.
Thanks, guys. All right, I'll kick off. What sort of happened in terms of rule changes in the off season? We had a president's meeting the other week, and given the sort of situation with the season as it is going to pan out, which we don't know what's going to happen, promotion and relegation are unlikely. The vote came through that it wouldn't be applicable, but the committee management are taking that under advisement. So we will, that's a wait and see. 12-player rule, it's only going to apply to the 70 over grade. So that was potentially coming in with two-day cricket across all grades, but that's just going to be the 70 over grades. Some of these Tagger just touched on, and you would have seen in the emails over the last couple of weeks. Batting for 80 over cricket, there's no restrictions. 70 overs, batsmen are to retire at 50 runs. Under 14, 16s and 18s, will face 30 balls per batter. Under 12s, it's 20 balls. For bowling, in both 80 and 70 over cricket, all bowlers will bowl a maximum of 20% of the overs. You can work out what that figure is. For the 14, 16s and 18s, there'll be a maximum of 4 overs per bowler, so that'll allow more bowlers to bowl, and the 12s will have a max of 3 overs per bowler, which will mean pretty much the whole side will be bowling. So all first 11 cricket will be in colours with white balls. Also, our Peter White Shield side will be playing in colours with white balls. That may or may not change tonight. There's a committee management meeting tonight. So as it stands, the association rules are that all Shield grades will be playing in colours with white balls. So that's something we got sort of thrown into, but I think we're right to run with that for the season. So yeah, watch this space. So that's all of the cricket rules. Now there's a few new COVID rules that we'll have to be abiding by. So one is checking in and checking out of all venues that we attend. There will be a standard across the association for this. They're looking at an app that everyone will need to download, which will for the most part do the check-in and check-out automatically. But it's about geofencing and having grounds that will automatically, with your location services, check you in to the actual location. So there won't be a lot required in that regard. It will be up to the COVID teams to make sure everyone's actually doing the check-in and check-out. There'll be no shared ROTs. Everyone's going to be required to bring their own food and drinks to training and games. Masks, which is not a new thing, they'll be required to be worn at all times, except for those under the age of 12 and any player who's actively batting, bowling or fielding. Everyone needs to maintain the 1.5 metre distance from others at all times, so that includes while training and off the field. Only players are to touch the match ball. Umpires won't be touching it. Spectators, it's just players. Bowlers must put their jumper and cap over the boundary, behind the keeper or behind the umpire. and we'll be accepting contactless payment where possible when restrictions allow us to have the canteen and bar open. So they're just a few of the things that changes this year. As for the recent updates, you would have seen that step 3 allows 10 people in a group. What Cricket Victoria managed to do last week was to allow us to actually train as a group of 11. You play as a group of 11, so we can train as a group of 11, which potentially will allow a few more people at training. Update yesterday, so that's obviously attempted to push our date from being next week to the week after. Obviously that's open, and hopefully we get the figures this week that allow it to be earlier. We still are relying on the council to actually give us access to that, so it won't be as, you know, oh, they've announced that everything's go. We'll have to wait until we get given access and are allowed to use the facilities and the ground. So in all likelihood, the earliest date to train would be towards the end of that week, which will be next Thursday, or Thursday week. As at this afternoon, I hadn't had any updates from Boxer Reporter or Cricket Victoria in relation to the new update from Dan Andrews yesterday. So as at today, there is no use of the council or club facilities, which is no different to yesterday. This is just a bit of a roadmap. This shows us where we're currently at. The only sort of update from this is that you can have 5 people from 2 households, 10 people, up to 10 people from 2 households, and the time restrictions have removed from this. But in reality, we're still sitting here at step 2. So we really want us to be at step 3 so we can start outdoors. And just going to mute you for a sec, Tag. So we can start outdoor training. Sorry, there was a few people stuck outside. Good. Step 3 is where we want to get to. We will be allowed spectators, but again, it'll be this group of 10 scenario, and, you know, maintaining distance. So the key COVID safe principles that have been released are that everyone wears a face mask, and you'll hear me repeat myself a few times this evening because it's important that we understand the basics. Physical distancing of 1.5 metres, regular hand hygiene, and just don't come anywhere near the cricket club if you are unwell or if you do have symptoms. Okie dokie. So, returning to train. Training will commence 5th of November. Ideally, this will be a lot earlier than that. But again, it'll be a wait and see. What we do need to understand is that all advice from CVs that we just get in, we train, and we get out. So at this stage, we're going to see the juniors training on a Tuesday night from 4:30 till 5:30, and there'll be 2 sessions for seniors and under 18s, being Tuesdays from 6 till 7:30 and Thursdays 6 till 7:30. All attendees must check in using the hand sanitizer on arrival and reapply every 30 to 40 minutes. You need to turn up to training dressed, ready to go. No personal playing equipment is to be shared unless it has been wiped or cleaned between use. We'll be training in small groups. The Victorian Government Step 3 outlines a maximum of 10. As I said earlier, this is now 11 for cricket clubs. We'll determine these groups and they'll be communicated via team app and maintained for an initial 3-week period. Like a lot of the things that we'll be working with this year, things will be fluid and we'll have to adapt as the rules change and as we're advised to do so by Cricket Victoria, the association, council, whatever. So whatever the rules may be at the start of the season, that they won't be the same for the whole year. So I just ask that you read your emails and just keep on top of the communications and make sure that you are aware of your requirements and responsibilities and obligations in relation to everything, to make sure that we're all abiding by the rules. Each of these groups that people will be placed in will not mix with any group at any stage before, during, or after the sessions. So you'll turn up, you'll know what group you're going into, and you'll stay with that group for the whole night. There'll be no, moving people in and out of the nets. It'll be as a group as a whole. Okay, so maximum number of groups per oval is 2. So they're suggesting that 100-metre separation is required between groups. So each group of 10 or 11, so we'll have sort of 3 groups training on the night. 2 groups will be on the oval, 1 in each half, and 1 group will be in the nets. We are allowed to have an additional coach per group, but they need to observe the group of 11. If they will be involved in the group, they become part of that 11 and stay with that group for the whole session. We will use the outer nets or the outside nets for batting and bowling, and the middle net will either be closed or open only for throwdowns or use of the bowling machine. Any training equipment that will be used must be cleaned before use. So balls, cones, stumps, bowling machine, everything will need to be cleaned before the start of the night. Everything will need to be cleaned at the end of the night, and potentially cleaned during the night as well, if it's being changed between different people that are using it. Sorry, just letting a couple more in. Sharing of personal equipment is strictly limited and must be sanitised before, during and after sessions. All attendees are to refrain from spitting, nasal clearing, and shall not use sweat or saliva on the balls. All attendees are to adhere to the latest advice from DHHS regarding travel to and from training. This includes maintaining physical distancing on public transport and limit carpooling and Uber use. Where possible, arrange to be driven to training by another household member. Face masks, again, must be worn at all times by those over 11. All players of any age are exempt from this requirement whilst batting, bowling and fielding. All attendees must adhere to facility signage directions and maintain a 1.5 metre distance to others. There'll be all sorts of signage up and around the rooms, on the outside, on the fences, within the rooms, within the bathrooms. So just please be mindful of all of those and make sure that you're adhering to those requirements at all times. And all attendees are to check out when leaving the club. So we're responsible just for keeping a track of people so that we can sort of limit the groups. If anyone's asked to isolate, we can actually identify who they were with on a particular night, so that, if one group's asked to isolate, we can limit it to that group rather than having the whole club potentially shut down for a period of time. Alrighty, what are our responsibilities for COVID? Oops, helps if I put it in my mouth. Alrighty, so COVID safe plan. We have one that will be ratified by the committee. There's a few things that need to be finalised within that, but it's, for all intents and purposes, it is a complete document. At this point of time, Cricket Victoria have been really helpful in helping us all as clubs with our requirements and what we need to do in that regard. So that's been great. All committee captains, team COVID officers, junior coaches and team managers, plus anyone else who is interested to do it, need to undertake the infection control COVID-19 training. It's free online and does really take less than 30 minutes. So when you do complete that, please send that through to Cam so we can keep a record of that. We need to have a COVID cricket training session plan, and as I previously just mentioned, we need to have an attendance register. The association is implementing an app, it's called One Breadcrumb, that we will all be required to download. If you don't have a phone, that's okay. There will be manual registers available. And we'll also, if you don't want to download the app and don't want to be tracked with your location services and things like that, there will be a QR code that you'll be able to scan at the club to be able to fill in the required information and check in. So that's for players, spectators, everyone, as far as I understand. This is just an example of what our posters are going to look like. This QR code is what you'll be scanning with your phone's camera. This one is just one that we had previously done, which is a free version, but now we're going to be made to purchase the app. It's a club purchase, so everyone who downloads it for free, but it's a club cost, so that all clubs in the association will be the same and have the same app that everyone will. So when everyone turns up at different grounds, their requirements are the same. So we don't have two clubs next to each other running different ways to check in. Okay, COVID, health and hygiene. So all players, coaches, volunteers are advised not to attend if well. It just goes without saying that if you feel sick or, you know, feeling some symptoms of cold or flu, just please don't turn up. The check-in is likely to ask the question. So you'll need to ask it before you sort of come into the club grounds anyway. So just stay home. Wash your hands prior, during, after training. Hand sanitizer will be available in various locations. Avoid physical greetings, so no handshaking, no high fives, etc. Again, avoid coughing, clearing your nose, spitting, etc. This was in the CV thing, so I'm putting it in here as well. Players and parents or guardians are encouraged to ensure all training and match day clothes should be removed as soon as possible on returning home and machine washed at 60 degrees Celsius. And please be careful when you're mixing your colours and your whites. I don't think I should have to say to wash your clothes, but please do. There is strictly to be no sharing of personal items. Oops, sorry. Such as water bottles, food, and towels. Cricket equipment sharing should be kept to a minimum and must be cleaned with alcohol-based sanitizer between each use. Again, no high fives, handshakes, or other physical contact. Attendees shall apply hand sanitizer on arrival to training and every 30-40 minutes during the session. And all those over 12 should wear a face mask. Club provided cricket balls and equipment must be cleaned with a minimum 70% alcohol, spray or wipe after each training session, and entry and exit points and touch points should be cleaned between sessions. So a lot of these are requirements for us as a club, but just so that you understand, you know, what's going to be going on around the club while we're all there. All right, next one, they're getting closer. COVID obligations. So all of us need to strictly adhere to the current Victorian government restrictions for non-contact sport. Groups to be fully separated from other groups at all times. So again, one group in the nets, two groups on the oval separated by 100 metres. Groups can rotate, but there will be no mixing of groups. Social distancing of 1.5 metres must be maintained at all times. Strictly no physical contact between players. If you're not feeling 100%, please stay home. Let your captain know. Bring your own drinks and food for afternoon tea on match day. Do not touch anyone else's equipment or clothing. Wear a face mask unless you're batting, fielding or bowling. And we will be asking all players to sign off a player commitment prior to the first session, and guardians will be signing that for minors. You'll see this within the sign-off. I won't go through that because I've already said all of these things at least 3 times each tonight. So just expect that this image will be in your sign-off. Okay, we're almost there. This is an image that's been released by Cricket Victoria just to, give an example of how we split on an oval, half an oval, one group, and one group in the nets. Quite simply, this will be the training process. Prior to training, make sure you are aware of the restrictions issued by East Box Hill and Cricket Victoria. Change into your apparel, pack your drink bottle, pack your mask, pack your cricket ball for bowling in the nets, check team app to confirm which group you're in. So that's before training. Upon arrival at training, put on your mask, keep 1.5 meters apart, complete the check-in process on your mobile to register your attendance, apply your hand sanitizer, read or listen to any instructions. If arriving late, see the coach for confirmation of your group location. In case you can't sort of tell where your group is, just make sure you're checking in with someone or the coach. Okay, during training, move to your allocated group of up to 11 players and stay with that group all night. Wear your mask if you're not batting, bowling or fielding. Keep 1.5 meters apart at all times. No high fives, no handshakes. Everyone needs to apply hand sanitizer every 30 to 40 minutes. After training, sanitize your ball before putting it in your kit bag. Put your mask on. Don't stick around until we are actually allowed to socialise with restrictions being lifted enough. Shower and change at home, and then check team app if we've got any other updates. So that's it for training in a nutshell. It's a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of common sense. There's a lot that we'll be doing for you and a lot that we'll be asking of you to assist with. So thank you for listening tonight. Hopefully that sort of outlines some of where we've been, where we're going in terms of training and getting us back out there. So yeah, if I'd open it up, if anyone's got any questions and wants to go through anything or just wants a chat, you'll have to unmute yourself because I've muted you all.
For those of us that are technologically illiterate and we're late to the meeting, can you send out the presentation?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Liana?
We're recording it too, Robbo, so we'll make the video available because there's been a few people that haven't been able to get on.
Yeah, Ripper. Thank you. Thanks, Cam. Thanks, Liana.
Liana?
Yes, Andrew?
For Josh, we probably won't have a team of juniors to play here, but he's interested in trying to play senior cricket. Is he allowed to train with us or not?
He'll either train with the juniors between 4:30 and 5:30 on the Tuesday, and that will be a separate session. So there needs to be separation between the sessions. So that session will be done and dusted, and then half an hour later, the seniors will come. So it'll be about is either training with the seniors or is training. So
okay. I misunderstood you. So he would be allowed to train with the seniors or not if he didn't train with the juniors?
Well,
I don't mind if it's no. I'm just trying to get an idea. He's asked a question, so I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. All right. We'll take that under advisement and come back to you. Yeah. So like I said, this is just, this is going to be our first few weeks. Things will change and start opening up as the year progresses. So, all the cleaning requirements and hygiene requirements will all be there, wearing the mask and maintaining the distancing. But hopefully things will start to loosen up and we'll be able to open the bar and, actually be able to hang around after training and have a beer and stuff like that. It just won't be from the start. So we just got to work together to make sure we keep everyone safe and don't have any issues, and we can get through a whole season.
Hey, Leanna,
Hey, Kenny.
on game day, being as fastidious as I am, would it be okay if I use an alcohol-based sanitizer to just clean the ball after each delivery?
After each delivery?
Yeah.
How long do you
Just
want
get a bit of shine on it.
There'll be plenty of alcohol.
But you were still playing at 8 o'clock, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in my pocket, mate.
Number of daylight hours. We can't extend
Danny,
it.
I'll give you a little tip. Put Vaseline on your forehead and you'll be fine.
It'll mix with your sweat, Daniel. Just a quick one, Liana. You said
Turn that
about
face camera. Oh my god.
what? About balls. Are we having one ball per player to have for the season, or are we doing?
There will be. That will be your net ball.
So every player will get allocated a ball.
Hopefully players will help us out a little bit, and if there's any balls floating around in their kit bags, let us know so that we can actually have a good collection at the start of the year, because as you can hear, this is going to be using a significant number of balls if each group's going to need to keep their own balls separated, and you have a ball to be bowling in the nets with, and that's your ball for the season.
Just with training, with say fielding drills, is it shared ball with catching, or does it change ball depending on who you're hitting the ball to for a catch?
That group will share those balls. So those balls will be cleaned before the session. So then once you're training with that group, that will be used within that group. So if that ball then goes out into another group and another group touches it, then there'll be requirements to clean that. But there'll be sets of balls that you can then use in each group so that you're not having to clean them constantly. You know, we want to make this as easy as possible and not trying to make things hard for everyone. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So as Leanna said, with players who've got balls that go hanging around in their bags and stuff like that, obviously in a perfect world, we'd be able to buy 50 balls and everyone gets a ball at the start of the season. Obviously that's going to cost money, and it's going to be a season where we're not going to be making much money, definitely at the start. So whatever monies we can save at the start when we're not actually bringing anything, well, barely bringing anything in, if we may not be able to have a canteen, we may not be able to have dinners, may not have all this sort of stuff. So we sort of all got to work together to make this as good as possible. So put the word out now if anyone's got, you know, balls in their bags and that sort of stuff that, you know, obviously not terrible ones, but they're any decent quality balls can be used as a net ball. Let us know, and you know, each group will have their own bag of training balls, and then each player will have their own ball for in the net, and we want to keep them as separate as possible. But yeah, it's going to be a tough season for everyone. I mean, the world's tough at the moment, so we've just all got to work together and, you know, get the best out of this situation as we can, and that's what we're trying to do. I mean, Leanna's put hours and hours into this COVID plan, and at the end of the day, there can be a meeting tomorrow and it changes almost everything we do. So we've got to be fluid, because otherwise we'd just be behind the 8 ball. We'd just be waiting. So we've got to put these things in place, and then yeah, next Sunday after, everything could change, hopefully for the better, let's hope, but we just plan for the worst, and then hopefully better things happen and we get opened up and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we just got to all work together, as I said 5 times now.
I think it's been really good. So I think it's been a good insight for everyone. I mean, I know most of us are fully aware of what we've got to do, obviously, because it's been in the media so much, but it's good to get it out there from a club point of view too. So well done.
Just sorry, one more thing with the separation of junior and senior training with that half-hour gap. So if a senior player can't go down and help the juniors with their training, if they're then going to participate in senior practice, and a junior can't do a junior practice and then come to a senior practice, is that correct?
Look, ideally, we want to maintain as much separation as we can in the first few weeks, just to avoid any, potential issues. And this could change. So, if someone is helping out with juniors, they'll not be involved. They'll be wearing their mask. They'll be sanitizing constantly, just to make sure that they're following all the hygiene protocols for them, to make sure that it's limited in the potential spreading of anything that anyone might have. So hopefully it'll change.
Coaching, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's about limiting close contacts. So, if you mix and match, then one person gets sick, you might wipe out the whole club.
Yeah.
Whereas if you stick to your groups, you might just wipe out your group or less.
One team.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but that's what it's about. So that's what the focus is.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, we just had a quick meeting before tonight with him, and just explaining that, this, in the lead up to the season, we'll be mixing up the players from different grades, just so that, like you say, Ken, if one group gets wiped out, then that group isn't the whole first 11, and we can't field a side on round one. So it's just sort of mitigating that risk a bit for the start of the season. In season, when everyone's playing in set teams every week, that's likely to change, because otherwise, if you keep mixing up the groups and then playing with a different set of 11 people, it's, creating more of a risk. So, we'll be moving with this as quickly as everything changes and each week goes on. And look, if there's things that you see us doing and think that there could be better ways to do them and more efficient ways to do it, then please let us know, because we don't want to be taking up more time from people than we need to. And we want to just, stick to the rules as easy as we can, and making sure that there is a level of actual enjoyment in this as well. It's not about, making life hard for everyone. We really want to make sure that everyone is getting, the benefits of being able to be outside. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Liana, so just on after the game, you mentioned that, we have to get in, get out as well. Obviously, there's a lot of gatherings in parks at the moment. At the moment, it's supposed to be from 2 households, 5 from each, I think it is, or 5 in total. I don't really recall, but come the first game, which is in 4 weeks' time, I think we would expect that restriction to be a lot more relaxed, and it could get to potentially 5 to 10 households with a few people, which might enable some of the players to be able to gather somewhere obviously offline and not sanctioned by the club, but somewhere in between the club and their home, to have a couple of drinks after the game in a park where the permitting. I think we need to keep that one up our sleeves as well, because obviously everyone plays for cricket, but a lot of also play for the beer after as well. And
100%,
I think there might be some tears if we leave the ground and not be able to have beer with each other. So I think that's one way that we could potentially keep together after the game for an hour or so. Obviously, there's going to be separate groups, but I think we all know that the parks are full of people at the moment, with 10 or 20 people from one group, which is strictly against COVID, strictly against the COVID rules. But fingers crossed that we get some more of it's relaxed shortly.
Hopefully, and as each week goes along, the likelihood of things being relaxed are increased. There's things like our liquor license that we're looking at as well, to try and make sure that, when we can open up the rooms, that as many people as possible can stick around at the club and do it together as a club. Not just go off and have to be in secret groups and have a drink, So, where we can, that's the aim, as safely and as responsibly as we can. to get back playing cricket first and foremost, knowing that, one of our purposes is, to allow people to play a social game of cricket. So what does social cricket mean? Having a drink at the end of the day as well. So, that is our focus as well. So we will.
I think hopefully by that stage when they've loosened it up to the 5 families in the park or whatever, then they'll actually loosen up what we can do at the cricket club. And like the owner said, we're trying to stretch out our red line so it becomes, instead of just under the awning pretty much, it goes down the whole concrete area, so we can then fit more people in that specific area. Because inside the rooms is going to be hard pretty much for the whole season, I would imagine. But the outside area, obviously is a lot more usable. And so if we can move our red line area outwards, more room, more people fit in there, and that seems like that's a lot of clubs are doing it, and it seems like it's probably something that everyone's going to have to do, and council should be all for it. So hopefully by that stage, hopefully by round 1, when we start playing actual cricket, we'll be able to have 20, maybe 30 people there. Obviously sticking to social distancing, but having a couple of beers and that sort of stuff, because it's not just about playing cricket. I mean, some of us have been at the club for 25 years and only played 3 or 4 games, so they're obviously not here for that reason. So whoever they may be.
That's it, mate.
You had a boring day, Cam.
I've had a boring season, I reckon. Might as well play.
And I think this, and the other point, Leona, as well, if I could just quickly mention, is that you spoke about, all the restrictions on training and the movement around groups and people, and that it's obviously encouraged that we get as many people to training as possible. But obviously, the more people that come to training, the more risk there is of spreading. And it's probably on everyone as players to be doing their own training as well between now and the first game, and just getting in as many sessions with your mate or with a partner from your side or whoever it might be to get things rolling in the nets at your local parks, like a lot of people are doing at the moment. Just obviously don't wear your club colours, so they can't track us back to anything like that.
Yeah. Where there's public nets, for sure, do that. Because it's public ground. So as long as you're sticking to the limits, that then by all means, please do it, because it's the only way you're going to be able to get out there and actually do it. And you'll get more sessions in that way. So definitely.
We have a bit of an update on juniors, where we're at. I don't know, is Eddie in the meeting tonight? I don't know if he's in or not, but
Going to be in the meeting.
He was having some issues.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm
here.
Lady.
Hello, everyone.
Give an update on teams and numbers, how we're looking at the moment, Eddie? Or?
Yeah, we're the 18s. We've got 9 players that we believe will sign up with us. So we're still looking for an extra couple. 16s, we've got 9 players that have committed, and we've got 3 that are 50-50, so we need to do some work there. 14s, we're really light on numbers. We've only got small numbers there, so talking to some other clubs at the moment as to where they're at with their numbers. The 12s, we've only got, again, small numbers, so we may well be pushing some of the 12s into a fast 9 side. So, it's great that we've got, likely that we've got an 18s and a 16s, but the 14s and 12s are pretty light. So I think we're going to struggle in those areas.
Right. But with the 14s, we would look at, trying to amalgamate and not another club.
Yeah, I spoke to the guy from Box Hill tonight. They've got 7. So, if we can, they're in the ECA, I know, and it makes it a bit difficult, but, if we can do something and at least keep the players. I spoke to Webby today, and he's still keen to play with James in the seniors. So we've just got to keep a connection to these guys somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that was positive, but it's a bit of a pity we won't be. But unlikely we'll get him to a team, but we'll keep
keep battling.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Jono's just joining us if anyone wants to say hi to him now that we're finishing up.
Work, Jono.
Good work, Jono.
Welcome, Strabs. Just 2021-22. And welcome to Gihan and Sonny have come on too.
They're both at work, so keep working hard, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, boys.
Thanks, Bob. Cool. All right. Well, if there's no more questions,
Thanks again for doing that. That was good.
we'll be in touch. We'll be having more regular communications in the lead up. So get used to this. We'll make sure we got the link and the password right, so we can get everyone in on time and get going. Oh, Harry's coming in too.
Jeez.
I'll just come in, say good day and goodbye. But yeah, we'll have a special meeting about what match requirements are, and in the interim, we'll be having a meeting with captains. Did you want to talk, Timmy? Are you waving? No. So you're like, what about me? No, you Tim?
Start the ball if he wants to talk. I like that.
Sorry, Jimmy. Yeah, we'll have a catch up with the captains and the people that we've selected for our COVID team, just to have a more in-depth conversation about that. And yeah, keep in touch.
Thanks, Liana.
Great job, Liana.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
See ya.
See you, Liana.
Bye.
Bye.